The most dangerous moment in any test is not the beginning. It's the second you believe you've already passed. Sir Steffon Darklyn died 3 seconds after that sentence, and everyone, Rhaenyra, the Dragon Keepers, the entire fandom, read it as bad luck. A lottery ticket that didn't pay out. But Seasmoke's choice was never a lottery. It was a verdict. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you that a low-born shipwright was chosen by that dragon for reasons written into his family's crest, into a real-world myth from the other side of the planet, and into the literal skeleton of every ship he ever built. The knight never had a chance. The shipwright never had a choice. Start with the scene everyone thinks they understand. Steffon Darklyn, Knight of the Queen's Guard, proven Targaryen blood 4 generations back. On paper, the safest candidate on Dragonstone. Rhaenyra vetted his genealogy herself. The Dragon Keepers staged the entire encounter, the chant, the gantry, the ceremony. And that chant is the first thing everyone misreads. It looks like ritual. It's actually bait. Seasmoke didn't come to that gantry because he was curious about Steffon Darklyn. He came because he'd been conditioned to answer that call since he was a hatchling. Which means the one thing this encounter never had, from the very first frame, was consent. The claiming wasn't a ceremony, it was an ambush dressed as one. Now watch what the dragon actually does. Because Seasmoke does not attack. Go back to the footage. He lowers his head. He waits. Steffon hesitates. Seasmoke repositions. Offers the approach again. Steffon inches forward. Stops. And a third time, the dragon holds still, neck down, an open invitation a child could read. 3 offers, 3 refusals. He counted. The Dragon Keepers told Steffon exactly what would kill him. Not the fire, the fear.
Do not show fear.
Dragons read hesitation the way we read a face. And here's the detail almost everyone missed. Through the entire approach, the whole ceremony, Steffon is whispering something under his breath. Great warrior, protect us. Over and over. A knight of the Queen's Guard, standing before a dragon he's supposed to bond with, praying to a god to save him from it. His mouth was confessing what his pedigree was hiding, that underneath the armor, he did not believe he belonged on that dragon's back. But here's the part that should keep you up at night. The fear didn't kill him either, because Steffon survives the hesitation. He survives the slow approach. Seasmoke lowers his head, seems to submit. The bond is right there, close enough to taste. And in that exact moment, Steffon relaxes. His shoulders drop, his prayer stops, and he opens his mouth.
I've done it.
Everyone hears that line as triumph. I think it's a confession. I've done it, before he's mounted, before the dragon has accepted anything. Steffon isn't speaking to Seasmoke in that moment. He's speaking past him, to the keepers, to the queen, to the court in his head. In the single most intimate second of a dragon bond, the knight turned to check his audience. He treated the most emotionally intelligent creature in Westeros like a horse he'd finished breaking, like a box he'd ticked. A dragon bond is not an achievement, it's a relationship. And Steffon announced the wedding before the bride said yes. Seasmoke's response is instant, not rage, correction. The dragon that offered 3 invitations withdraws all of them at once. Dragons don't punish fear, they punish presumption. If that just reframed a death you'd written off as bad luck, that's exactly when people hit like. Not because I asked, but because something shifted. So go and smash that button with Dragonfire. Whatever you've got, just go and smash it. Hi, I'm Nick, you're watching Cynic Cults, and we're just getting started. Because if Steffon's death was a verdict, then Addam's claiming was a search, and Seasmoke had been searching for a long time.
Seasmoke, my late lord husband's dragon, has grown restless of late. We cannot know why.
Maybe he's lonely.
Lonely. And notice who says it. Not Rhaenyra, who knew this dragon for years, but Mysaria, an outsider, a stranger to dragons, guessing on instinct, 3 episodes before the claiming, and nobody in the audience clocks it. She's one word off. Not lonely, bereaved. Because dragon lore is brutally specific on this point. A dragon takes no new rider while its rider lives. The bond is monogamous. It ends one way. So if Seasmoke is available, if he's even entertaining candidates, then somewhere across the narrow sea, quietly, off-screen, Laenor Velaryon is gone. That restlessness isn't boredom, it's mourning. Seasmoke spent those nights over the water, doing what every grieving creature does, looking for the thing he lost in every place it used to be. And that reframes the entire beach sequence with Addam. Watch it again with this in mind. Seasmoke doesn't stumble across a shipwright. He hunts him, tracks him down the shoreline, corners him, refuses to let him leave. A dragon in Mourning caught a scent on the wind, salt, timber, and blood that was half Laenor's. Addam of Hull is Laenor's half-brother, the closest living echo of the rider Seasmoke buried. Seasmoke wasn't choosing a stranger, he was recognizing a ghost. And there's a darker possibility underneath that one. Because the show never confirms Laenor's death, it only requires it. Which opens the door to a theory I can't shake, that the bond wasn't broken by death at all. That before Laenor rode away from his old life, he did the one thing no rider in recorded history has done. He let go on purpose. A farewell in High Valyrian, a command, a release, setting Seasmoke free so that the dragon wouldn't spend decades chained to a rider who had chosen to stop existing. If that's true, then Seasmoke isn't just grieving, he's obeying, carrying out his rider's last order. Find someone else. Find someone worthy. And look at what worthy turned out to mean. Not the knight with the pedigree, not the candidate who walked toward the dragon reciting his own bloodline like a resume, the man who ran. Addam flees Seasmoke on that beach, and everyone calls it cowardice, as if it's the same fear that killed Steffon. It isn't. Steffon's fear was the fear of being exposed. Addam's fear was the sane, animal fear of a man with no delusions about what a dragon is. One is vanity cracking, the other is honesty. Seasmoke burned the man who pretended not to be afraid. He chose the man who didn't pretend at all. And when the queen herself lands on that beach to interrogate the thief who stole her dragon, listen to how Addam describes what happened. Not, I claimed him. Not one word of credit.
This dragon came to me, not I to him.
Even standing in front of a queen, with everything to gain from the boast, the shipwright refuses to say, I've done it. The exact sentence that killed Steffon Darklyn is the one sentence Addam will not speak. Now. Everything I've shown you so far lives inside the show. This next part doesn't. This next part has been hiding on House Velaryon's banners since before the first episode aired, and it comes from the other side of the real world. In Japanese, the seahorse has an ancient name, Tatsu no Otoshigo. Translate it literally, and it means the dragon's illegitimate child. The dragon's bastard. Sit with that. The sigil of House Velaryon, the seahorse, carries a real-world name that means bastard of the dragon. And who claims Seasmoke? Addam of Hull, a bastard, of the Seahorse House. The one family in Westeros whose own crest, in a language from our world, spells out exactly which of its children inherits the sky. The prophecy was the crest. And before you call that coincidence, this is George R.R. Martin's favorite kind of trick. This is the author who buried Maggie inside Maggie the Frog, her name a corruption of the word for witch, hiding in plain sight for 5 books. He builds names like time bombs. And the old Japanese legend goes further. The seahorse isn't just the dragon's bastard child. It's a dragon in waiting, a creature that lives beneath the sea for 100 years before it grows wings and rises into the sky. A sea creature, waiting generations to become a dragon. That is House Velaryon's entire history compressed into one myth. Valyrian blood that conquered the ocean instead of the air. The sea snake sailing to the edge of the world while his cousins rode the clouds. A dynasty of Tatsu no Otoshigo, dragons who hadn't risen yet. And the show knew, because the series quietly changed the sigil. In the books, the Velaryon arms are a plain seahorse. On screen, it's a hippocampus, half horse, half fish, a creature caught mid-transformation between 2 worlds. They redesigned the crest to show a beast in the middle of becoming something else. Then a bastard of that house climbed onto a dragon's back, and the 100 years were over. There's even a fringe theory that pushes this further. that Corlys's coldness toward Addam hides something worse than an old affair. That the Hull boys aren't Corlys's bastards at all, but Rhaenys's. Princess Rhaenys, the queen who never was, which would put raw Targaryen blood directly in Addam's veins, and explain why Seasmoke's choice looked so effortless. I don't think the show supports it, but I understand why people reach for it, because they can feel that Addam's claiming is overdetermined, that too many arrows point at this one man, and they're looking for the mechanism. They're right about the arrows. They're just looking in the wrong place. The mechanism isn't hidden in Addam's mother's bed. It's hidden in his hands. Ask yourself the question nobody asks. Not, why did the dragon choose Addam? The other one. Why wasn't Addam destroyed by the moment? Steffon Darklyn, a trained knight, a man whose profession is standing in front of death, cracked under the sheer presence of that animal. Addam of Hull stood underneath the same beast, close enough to feel its breath, and stayed functional. Why? Because of what a shipwright actually does all day. A shipwright builds skeletons. That's the job. You lay the keel, one massive timber running the length of the vessel, the spine. Then you raise the ribs, curved frames arcing up from that spine, one after another, until you're standing inside a cage of pale wood the size of a leviathan. Every working day of Addam's life was spent inside the ribcage of something enormous. Now put him on that beach. Seasmoke looms over him, wings half spread, neck arched, silver gray and vast. Terror for anyone else. But look at the geometry of what's actually above Addam in that moment. A spine, curved ribs, pale gray structure framing the sky. He wasn't standing under a monster. He was standing inside a hull. And Westeros itself already told us that ships and dragons are the same skeleton. It told us thousands of years before Addam was born, on the Iron Islands. The Grey King, the most legendary Ironborn who ever lived, slew the great sea dragon Naga. And what did he do with her body? He built with it. Her ribs became the pillars and rafters of his long haul, and thousands of years later, when the Ironborn gather beneath those bones for the King's Moot, the books describe them rising from the earth like the trunks of great pale trees, as wide around as a warship's mast. The oldest hall in Ironborn memory is a dragon's ribcage used as a ship's frame. Naval architecture and dragon anatomy aren't a metaphor in this world. They're the same blueprint: keel and spine, frame and rib. The lore fused them at the dawn of its own history, and then waited. Waited for one man whose entire craft was that blueprint. So when Seasmoke arched over Addam of Hull, the knight's instinct would have read danger. The shipwright's instinct read structure. Load, curve, balance. The same silent arithmetic he ran every day of his working life. Where Steffon Darklyn saw the end of the world, Addam saw a familiar shape. That's why the fear never took him. You are not paralyzed by the inside of your own workshop. And that is the real revelation buried in the sewing. The thing that terrifies the Dragon Lords far more than one dead knight. Because if Seasmoke's choice was about recognition, temperament, understanding, then the foundation of Targaryen supremacy is a marketing campaign. The dynasty's claim was always that the blood of old Valyria is the key, the lock, and the door. Then Addam bonds through kinship and craft. Then Nettles, no pedigree, no name, no silver hair, tames sheep-stealer with nothing but fresh mutton, patience, and the willingness to actually understand the animal in front of her. Blood gets you an audition. It has never once been the reason you're chosen. Dragons choose the way Seasmoke chose. Essence over ancestry, respect over ritual, the person over the pedigree. The Targaryens didn't build an empire on a bloodline. They built it on making sure nobody else ever got close enough to a dragon to find out. The dynasty's biggest lie. So put the whole picture together. A dragon in mourning, released or widowed, and hunting the scent of the rider he lost. A knight who treated the bond as a box to tick, and said one sentence too early.
I've done it.
A bastard of a house whose crest, in a language from our world, literally names him the dragon's child. And a craft that spent 30 years teaching one man's body not to fear the exact silhouette that kills everyone else. Seasmoke didn't break the rules that day on the beach. He exposed them. The real rules, the ones older than the Citadel's records, older than the dynasty's propaganda. And under those rules, the choice was never between a knight and a peasant. It was between a man who wanted a dragon and a man who was built for one. Seasmoke chose the builder of hulls because only a shipwright ever truly understood the beauty of a dragon's ribcage. Now here's what I want to know from you, because this one splits the room every time. Did Laenor release Seasmoke willingly? A farewell in High Valyrian before he rode into the dark? A rider setting his dragon free? Or did Seasmoke sever the bond himself, the moment Laenor chose to stop being Laenor Velaryon? Because one answer is an act of love. The other is a dragon deciding his rider abandoned him first. Tell me which one you believe, and defend it in the comments. I don't chase subscribers. I find people who see stories differently. If you're still here, if what I just showed you made the version you had in your head feel incomplete, then you're one of us. We're building an empire of people who see what the camera doesn't show. And if you're still here, you're already one of us. You know what to do. Addam was found by a dragon he never asked for, a destiny that came looking for him. But Daemon Targaryen? His destiny didn't find him. He built it. Piece by piece, choice by choice. And the evidence hiding in plain sight proves that everything you watched happen to Daemon was never an accident. It was a plan. And nobody noticed. That video is right here. Once you see what he was really doing, you'll never watch a single Daemon scene the same way again. See you there. Until then, stay cult.